What is up, guys? It is Alex from Connection Lab, and I just finished a 10-day Vipassana Meditation Retreat. It's aka the Meditation Prison. And yeah, wow, it was just absolutely a life-changing experience. So I want to take some time to just explain, a few different things in this video. One, just, what does the experience actually look like? Two, I'm going to share the insights that I got during the retreat. Three, I'm just going to share, it's been about 3 days since I finished the retreat. And yeah, already starting to see a lot of benefits. So I'm going to share what those benefits are. And then ultimately, I'm just going to share, if this is right for you and what are the benefits that you can expect from doing this. And at the end of the video, I actually think there's a few different types of people that this retreat can actually be harmful for. And you might want to avoid it if you are these type of people. All right, so what does the retreat actually look like? So it's 10 days. You wake up at 4 a.m. You go to sleep at 9 p.m. Basically, the entire day you're meditating. You have breakfast and lunch, and there's like an hour break, hour or two break for lunch. There's a tea break at like 5 p.m. But other than that, you're spending the entire time meditating. And so there's a few rules. One, there's no talking. You're not even though there's about 60 other people in the room, there's no talking. You're not allowed to say anything. You can talk to the teacher if you have any questions. That's it. Otherwise, this experience is meant to be just you and your thoughts. So the first 3 days of the retreat, the whole goal is to sharpen our awareness and our consciousness, and just to go deeper and deeper and deeper into our subconscious mind. And how Buddha did this and how he teaches is you focus on just one small area of your body. So it was this triangle right at the top of your nose up to your upper lip. And you just feel all the sensations that are happening in this small area of your body. So you just feel the breath coming in, you feel the air flowing out. And after about, the second or third day, you're just going to start feeling these really subtle sensations, this little tingling, this little, maybe a little itching around your nose area. And all of these sensations are happening all of the time. And your mind knows this is happening. Your mind is connected to all these sensations, but your awareness, your consciousness doesn't know this is happening. So in order to get deeper and deeper and deeper into your mind, you start connecting to that subconscious mind through sensations. And you do this by just focusing on one small area, and eventually you just get subtler and subtler and subtler sensations. So after the first 3 days, once you sharpen your awareness, this is actually when the Vipassana technique actually starts. So the technique is basically you do a body scan. You start from the top of your head and you start scanning your entire body, every inch of your body. And over time, you just start feeling subtler and subtler and subtler sensations throughout your entire body. The reason we're looking or focused on sensations in the body is because Buddha realized, after doing so much meditation, just being so connected to his body, he realized that the root of all suffering is from two things. It's from craving and aversion. So craving is when you feel a pleasant sensation and you want more of it. So you cling to that sensation and you just want more of it. Aversion is when you feel an unpleasant sensation and you want to get rid of it. But the thing is, what Buddha realized is what he calls the law of impermanence, meaning that everything, literally everything, is constantly changing. So nothing is permanent, especially your sensations. You might be feeling this pleasant sensation for a minute, and then what naturally happens, and this is the deepest habit that is in our mind, we're ingrained to do this, is to start craving that positive sensation. But what happens is the sensation disappears, and now we've clinged to this positive sensation, and we're wishing we can get it back. And that's where suffering happens. And again, with aversion, when you're trying to avoid pain or stop pain, when you start feeling a painful sensation, the suffering actually doesn't come from the sensation itself. The suffering comes from you and your mind trying to tell yourself to get out of that sensation. So, throughout the entire experience, you're going to be feeling all types of sensations. And, because you're sitting for so long, especially after the 5th day is when you start, they tell you to just sit in one position and to just stay there. So you're literally just sitting, you pick one position and you stay there for at least an hour. And basically after 30 minutes, you're going to start feeling all types of different painful sensations in your body. Maybe your knees, maybe your legs, your back especially. And what you have to train your mind to do is to remain just objective. Just view the sensation for what it is, just a sensation, with the understanding that it's impermanent. It's just arising and passing. And that way you're not attaching yourself to the sensation. And when you do that, it takes a lot of practice. The fifth day was probably one of the toughest for me because I felt all these painful sensations, and my mind was just telling me to get out of it, to switch positions. But once you continue to do it, you can just quiet your mind and just observe the sensation, and eventually you will actually find the painful sensation will dissolve. And that's the whole point. We're trying to feel these sensations at an objective level, because what Buddha realized is that every reaction we do, we first feel a sensation in our body. So let's say you're hungry, you want to get food. Before you actually eat, there's going to be sensations in your body, pleasant sensations, and you're going to be craving that. And in order to fill that craving, you're going to react by eating. And same thing with, an unpleasant sensation. First you feel the unpleasant sensation, and then your body's, automatically our minds are ingrained to react by getting out of that painful situation. So the goal of Vipassana is to break, or at least weaken, this deepest habit of human beings. The habit of craving and clinging to pleasant sensations and being averse to unpleasant sensations. Because if you can start to weaken this habit, you just create freedom in your life. Because now you're not just reacting every single time there's a sensation. And remember, if you're not someone who practices meditation, this is all happening at a subconscious level. So when you do something like Vipassana, you actually start to see and observe that these sensations are happening in your body. So you can first observe them, be objective to them, and then you have choice. You have the freedom to choose what you're going to do next instead of just automatically reacting. So another thing that happens when we crave and we stay away from unpleasant sensations is when we do react. Every time we react, we create what Buddha calls a sankhara. And when I first heard about sankharas, it didn't really make sense to me. It kind of sounds woohoo, but there's a book called The Untethered Soul, and it's a really amazing book that is really great to read before doing the Vipassana, because it talks about Buddhist teachings. And what it says is basically every time you have a craving and you react, you are creating a sankhara, and the sankhara is stored in your body, and this is it's negative. It's holding you back. And every time you have a craving, but you resist it, you are releasing this sankhara. And in the beginning, I wasn't fully sure if I wanted to believe this until I literally experienced this happening. Because they talk about how when a sankhara is released, you can actually feel the energy, and it will pass through your heart, and you'll feel a burning sensation in your heart. And that is the sankhara being eradicated from you. And there were so many instances during the retreat where, I was feeling maybe a painful sensation, and I just remained calm, I remained objective, realizing that this is impermanent. And I found these sensations, like there's multiple times I felt a sensation in my stomach. It was kind of like an air-like sensation, just kind of rise up to my chest and then rise to my heart, and I felt a burning sensation. And it was it was really incredible experience. And even there was times in my head where I felt like something just like pop out of my head, like this air, and then come down into my chest and into my heart, and then I had that burning sensation. So I experienced it in my own body. So that's when I realized that this really is a thing. So by the end of the 10 days, you're just feeling so many subtle sensations throughout your entire body. I was able to even feel, I still could, I can feel my heart without even touching it, just feeling my heart beat. So, this usually doesn't happen just after 10 days, but if you continue to do this, people will be able to just feel every single organ inside their body and just be so aware of just every little sensation. And again, how we react is based on our sensations. So if you can get so in touch with your own sensations, you just have so much more control over how you react. So before we get into the benefits that I'm experiencing, after doing it, I'm going to share a few insights that I experienced during it. So one of the specific experiences was, especially for the first few days of the retreat, there's a few times where I'm just sitting in my bed, during the break periods, and, I just start having these like sexual fantasies, and I start, developing this craving. And after about the third day, when they talked about Vipassana, the technique, I started just, every time this came up, I just started observing these sensations, the sensations in my genital areas, the air, like this light, kind of coldish air floating from my stomach. And what I realized is when I just objectively observe those sensations, the craving really just stops. Because otherwise, in the past, what I was doing, those first 3 days was I had these fantasies and I feel the sensations without really, thinking about it. And I kept having the fantasies just to keep experiencing these sensations. And this is really important because, especially in the past few years is when I really realized how important it is to control sexual cravings. And I'll get more into the benefit section, with another experience. So it's been about 3 days since after the retreat. So yeah, I'm just going to share some of the benefits that I'm experiencing now. I've been feeling just fucking amazing the past 3 days, after the retreat. Just so much lightness, so grounded, and just, even people have been telling me they just feel this like aura around me. But what I keep reminding myself is, and this actually can be a bit dangerous, is that I'm remembering the law of impermanence, that these sensations and how I'm feeling is temporary. It arises and passes. Because what's happened so many times for me in the past is, I have some sort of breakthrough experience. And after that, I just feel amazing. I feel so empowered, so much energy, just so assured of myself. And then after like a few days, those sensations go away. And then I start to feel really frustrated. Like, oh, well, why is it going away? Like, I thought this is going to be permanent. And I'm trying to figure out how to get myself back into that state, which has never worked. And always leads me to being just frustrated. And so what I'm keep reminding myself now is, even though I feel amazing right now, that all sensations are temporary. And that although I can enjoy how I'm feeling now, I don't want to cling to it as if, and just thinking that this is permanent and this is how it's going to be forever. Because, when those unpleasant sensations come, at least I won't be suffering by, thinking about how much I miss being in that previous state. So that's something really important that I'm still working on. Yeah, one other experience is, this one I'm really happy about, is, in the past, I shared a bit in an Instagram post, but yeah, in the past, sexual craving has been a big problem for me. And about a year ago, I talked to a sex therapist, and what I realized is this craving for more sexual sensation is what has been keeping me from having those deeper, just more fulfilling connections. Those connections that just fill up my heart with love, and yeah, they're just ultimately just way, way more fulfilling. And about a year ago, I made a big change in my life to just really prioritize, deeper connections instead of sexual craving or just, hookups and that sort of stuff. And it's been just so beneficial for my life. But there's still times where I still feel that craving, and I do want to ultimately just, go deeper into that understanding and just make sure I don't fall back into that craving. And there was an experience, actually last night, where I met a girl, and I was able to tell she was into me. And by the end of the night, she asked if she can come over, and it was pretty obvious to me that it looked like she was looking for a hookup, and that's just not what I'm looking for. And I just didn't feel the connection, the energy, just being in sync. And in the past, I most likely would have said yes, because I just I was craving those sexual sensations. And there was times even yesterday where I was feeling those sensations, feeling the sexual energy. But what I did was I just paused. I just felt the sensations for what they were, and then I came back, and from just observing the sensations objectively, I was able to ground myself and just decide that this wasn't right for me. And really happy about that, because I just know, at least for me, I'm not saying you shouldn't do hookups. I'm not telling you what you should do, and I'm not saying that hookups are bad or anything like that. But I just know, for me, in my experience, it wasn't good for me. It was really a never-ending craving that was just never fulfilling. And by ultimately giving that up, I've just been getting so many deeper and just more amazing connections in my life. So for me, in my experience, I'm a big believer in that. Another kind of similar experience was also last night. I very briefly met a girl. Just literally, I said maybe like 5 words to her, but I just felt like really good vibes from her, just really good energy. And this morning, I found myself actually like fantasizing, but not in a sexual way. Like, I was fantasizing in a kind of more like connection way. I just like wanted to talk to her in like a more romantic way. And I found myself, I was in my bed this morning and just imagining that, and then I paused. Because what happens is, in the past, I've had these experiences where I meet a girl, I'm really into her, and I just start craving those sensations. I start like romanticizing it, where I'm just kind of like dreaming her up to be someone else that, even though I don't even know the person enough, and it really just turns into kind of a, I don't know if obsession is the right word, but just where I'm just keep thinking about them. And that, for me, I just know that's never, never been a good thing. It's never led to anything good. So yeah, I very briefly started that experience today and this morning, but then again, I paused and I just observed those sensations, the warm feelings that were happening in my stomach, in my chest area, the kind of light feeling. And after just observing objectively, I realized, like, I told myself, yeah, this craving or just romanticizing isn't going to be helpful for me. So I just stopped. And just by observing the sensation, it really just took out all the power of the craving or wanting to think about it more. So yeah, really powerful experience for me. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Yeah, now just getting into, is this right for you? If you just want to get to know yourself better, one of the best things you can do is just understand your sensations, because sensations, like I said, literally are what drive us. Every time we do anything, there's always a sensation first in our body. So if you just want to learn more about yourself, connect with those sensations, and not react to them, ultimately this leads to just freedom. Because when you can just observe the sensation and not just automatically react, you have now time to choose. You can choose to maybe react. You can choose to go forward with the craving. I'm not saying like you should just never crave anything or never feel any good thing. That doesn't make sense. But now you're just not doing it automatically. You can actually have choice, and with choice you have freedom. So yeah, I highly recommend like everyone try it. It is an incredible experience for me. It's only been 3 days, and I'm sure I'm going to keep getting more and more benefits as the days go on. And again, I mentioned there's two types of people in particular that I think this probably might not be good for. It might actually be harmful for. One is because when you go into the retreat, you're not allowed to leave, technically. You go in and you basically sign this thing saying you're not going to leave. I mean, if you literally ask them like 10 times, yeah, they're not going to like literally physically hold you, but they will kind of like, they'll really ensure that you try to stay. So if you're not fully committed and you just want to like dabble in it, this is probably not for you. You really should make a strong determination this is for you. Second type is, like I said, you're sitting for a long periods of time and there's a lot of painful sensations in your body. There's a lot of avoidable ones depending on which position you're sitting in, but it seems like everyone was experiencing back pain. A lot of back pain. So if you're someone that has like, some sort of back problem, if you had surgery or something, yeah, I mean, definitely at least talk to your doctor, because you could end up damaging yourself even more. So overall, it was just absolutely amazing experience. Just being able to connect with my sensations and pausing before reacting. Again, it just creates freedom, because now I can choose what I want to do instead of just having my pre-programmed mind react to what it is habitually does. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. It really motivates me to make more videos like this. And yeah, if you're just into the topics of connection, confidence, and self-growth, definitely subscribe, because that's completely what I'm focused on doing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love.